Disclaimer. The above story is a work of fiction created for entertainment purposes. Any resemblance to real events or individuals, living or deceased, is purely coincidental. It is a family-friendly narrative designed to engage and captivate readers without any connection to real-life situations.
My wife expressed a desire to open our marriage, and subsequently I became involved with a new partner, but my wife now deeply regrets her decision. This situation has taken us to a point I never imagined we would reach. We've been together for a decade, married for 8, having met during college and remained each other's sole romantic experiences. I cherished what I believed was a unique and beautiful relationship, but it seems my perspective was one-sided. The turning point came when my wife started a new job. Initially, she struggled to fit in due to her reserved nature. However, with some encouragement from me, she formed friendships with a group of women, some of whom were single, divorced, or dating but not married. At first, I was glad she had made new friends, but as time passed, her behavior changed. She began going out for drinks and partying, which raised concerns for me. I attempted to discuss it with her, but didn't want to impose any restrictions. Our intimacy suffered as a result of her frequent late nights and partying. She was never one to initiate intimacy, and her newfound lifestyle further strained our physical connection. The situation escalated when her workplace hired a new manager, who she and her friends grew fond of. She started mentioning him frequently, which made me uneasy. I questioned her fascination with him, but she dismissed my concerns. She even asked if I regretted not having more experiences with other women, to which I replied that she was all I ever needed. Her reaction seemed sad for a moment, but she changed the subject. Surprisingly, she began suggesting the idea of an open marriage to spice things up. This took me by surprise, as it was entirely out of character for her. I initially resisted, suspecting a connection with the new manager. She denied it, but admitted feeling like she had missed out on experiences. She didn't want to lose me, and this seemed like a safer option. I worried she was playing with fire, but reluctantly and naively agreed. For a year, my wife went on dates, engaged in one-night stands, and eventually developed a relationship with the manager. In contrast, I had a few dates but avoided one-night stands as it didn't feel right. My wife noticed the change in our dynamic and questioned my relationship with my lover. I reminded her that she had initiated the open marriage and was in a relationship with the manager that concerned me. She began to make efforts to reconnect with me, surprising me with dinners and cleaning the house. She even visited my workplace to bring lunch and initiated intimacy in the bedroom. However, I found it difficult to reciprocate, as something had changed within me. I questioned her motives for this sudden transformation, and she claimed it was to demonstrate her love and happiness in our relationship. I couldn't help but laugh, asking about her previous relationships and one-night stands, but she didn't respond, instead retreating to bed in tears. The following day, she admitted her mistake, expressing regret and a desire to focus on our relationship once again. I probed for the true motivation behind her actions, which led to her confession that a group of friends had planted the idea. They had influenced her with their numerous intimate experiences and encouraged her to explore, especially when the manager showed interest. They suggested an open marriage as an option to discover herself and improve our relationship. Her affair with the manager, initially emotional, turned physical after our marriage was open. She described it as a reckless and thrilling experience, lacking the depth of our connection built over the years. She began to see the hurt in my eyes, leading to panic attacks. Seeking advice from her friends, she realized the toxicity of their influence and begged for their help to win me back, but they dismissed her concerns. Realizing the negative impact of her choices, she cut ties with her friends and the manager, but I maintained contact with my lover. Unsure of how to proceed, I turned to therapy. The therapist appeared unbiased and eager to help. My wife used this opportunity to lay out her side of the story, acknowledging the friend's influence and her regret. She expressed a desire to mend our relationship. In a subsequent counseling session, my wife confessed that although nothing physical occurred before our marriage opened, she and the manager had engaged in self-pleasure together. This revelation shocked me. She detailed a specific incident that shattered her perception of their relationship when she overheard him belittling her and considering her an easy conquest. My wife claimed she had never stopped loving me, which only intensified the complexity of our situation. She proposed starting anew, just the two of us, away from our current environment. I, however, indicated that I needed distance to process everything and expressed reluctance to fight for our marriage. This led to an emotional encounter, and I left to stay in a separate apartment. I've consulted a divorce attorney at my brother's recommendation, mainly as a precaution. At this point, I am not inclined to fight for our marriage, and my wife seems to sense my hesitation. Our journey has taken us through a tumultuous path, and she now deeply regrets the choices she made. She wishes she could undo them, but life rarely works that way.